Are you
Good morning, America. We're currently on this side of the road. The car is vibrating really violently and the check engine light is blinking. None of us know anything about cars. So...
Please let us know how we can best assist you today.
The Hatsune Miku movie comes out April 17th, and from the promotional materials, it looks like this. And the Minecraft movie came out April 4th, and it looks like this.
Don't worry! Yeah, most of it. Hola.
That thing doesn't understand a word you're saying.
Now, I'm sure that the budgeting and also artistic integrity was severely different between these two movies, but I bring them both up for a reason. The Minecraft movie is very clearly a cash grab. The casting is questionable, the plot is non-existent, and the only highlight I have is Chicken Jockey.
Chicken jockey!
My friends have criticized me quite a bit because I'm very excited for the Hatsune Miku movie. However, I wish that the Minecraft movie had never been made. However, I posit that there is a difference between the two. Hatsune Miku is a Vocaloid, and I'm pretty sure she's the most popular within that subgenre, unless you're a nerd. However, Minecraft has become universal in a sense. The term Minecraft YouTuber is the only label I can think of that has ever been given to a video game with a fan base so large that anyone partaking in the activity and posting it online gets a unique name aside from, you know, a gaming channel or YouTuber. This is part of the reason that I'm so passionately against this adaptation of the Minecraft movie, because it's so beloved to so many people. And, you know, maybe Hatsune Miku is too, but I don't know, maybe it'll be good. There are quite a few things I'd like to discuss about the movie and its cultural significance. I am going to start with my critiques of the actual movie. I saw the movie in theaters because I believe in the principles of what is called the acquaintance principle. I'm gonna let someone a little bit smarter than me explain what that is.
The acquaintance principle states that having the right to an aesthetic belief requires one to have experienced for oneself the object it concerns.
I don't even know where to begin with this. So, we all know Jack Black has been cast as Steve, and there are 2 songs in the movie which I didn't expect, but I've been told that they're riding the coattails of the Super Mario movie, where he also does a few musical numbers. I personally think that the casting is absolutely abhorrent. I don't see a way in which any of the characters really embodied their roles. Jack Black's acting was ridiculous, but I guess it elevated the theater experience a little bit. I just feel like if we wanted an artistically at all integral movie, I don't know if this was the way that we should have done it. I want to make it clear, I'm not against the Minecraft movie being a comedy, but I think that there needs to be more substance to it than what was presented in front of me. And also, obvious spoiler warning from here on out. So the movie opens with, I want to say, 10 minutes of absolutely obnoxious narration wherein we're introduced to Jack Black's character, Steve.
Wait a second, putting it under my waterbed's a horrible plan.
He discovers these 2 pieces, which will be caveats are important later, and he goes into Minecraft, and we get to see him play Minecraft. One thing I want to say about the visual style is that I particularly did not care for it. I didn't know at the time that a lot of it was filmed practically, but I think that the color grading and just something about the way that it is makes it feel like they are completely unimmersed in the world. I also just want to say, like, I personally think that the visual style that they went with.
I forgot to mention this in the original recording, but I find the visual style to be grotesque at times. There's hair and wrinkles and skin sags, but they're shaped like squares, and it creates this uncanny, off-putting, aesthetically displeasing veneer over them. I think that Pixels did a cool thing where they just incorporated the digital medium into the real world, and I think the Minecraft movie could have done something similar. Ultimately, they opted for a hyper-realistic one that we can't undo.
It could have been better. And also, I don't know, it's difficult to turn blocks into something that is actually artistically recognizable as Minecraft, but also, like, able to fit real humans in there. But I feel like this might not have been the way to do it. I don't know. Once Jack Black's character is lost in Minecraft because he's taken prisoner by a piglin queen named Malgosha. And her whole deal is that she believes in complete creative suppression, and this is a theme that is never explored any deeper than that. Her origin story is that she gets booed off stage at a talent show and essentially falls into a life of tyranny. The idea of the Nether being evil and whatever, like the whole piglins being the bad guys, I'm not completely against it, and I also understand that the in-game mechanics can't be the exact same as they are in the game. One of the characters even makes a tater tot launcher. Steve has an elytra, which is actually screwing them over if they want to make a sequel. And just overall, I'm okay with the game having an elevated internal logic that is separate from the canon of the game. Another gripe that I have with this movie is Jennifer Coolidge's character goes out with a Minecraft villager. And when the villager steps through the portal, I had this feeling of dread because this is kind of an unknown. Yes, Steve's dog goes into the world, but it's kind of like assumed that he's like stealthy or whatever. But with this villager going through, almost getting hit by a car, interacting with Jennifer Coolidge, being in a public restaurant, you would think there would be some repercussions for that. And even if there weren't going to be any repercussions, why would you have two magic systems interact like this if you're not going to explore the ways in which that functions? I understand when people from the real world go into the overworld, it's just kind of like the video game functions as it would as if you were a player. But when something from the game goes into the real world, there's no explanation or logic or repercussions for how or why or what happens. And I think that that was something that really irked me because I watched this video about one of my favorite YouTubers did a video talking about the way that magic systems interact with each other and the way that that's really interesting and like subversive. And I think that when these two things interact with one another, that could have also been something really interesting to explore an internal logic, an elevated internal logic, the dynamic between these two, the magic system that's set up. But instead it's kind of just, as everything, used as a plot device to keep saying chicken jockey. Okay, so to move on, we are then introduced to Jason Momoa's character named Garrett. And Garrett's whole deal is that he was a superstar video gamer in the 80s, and he eventually faded into obscurity, and he now owns like this little shop wherein he sells video games and what have you and whatnot. He's then invited to a storage auction wherein we get our cameos. LD Shadow Lady and Dan TDM are sitting in the background as bidders, and they don't have a single line of dialogue. So thank you for your years of service to the Minecraft community. There, he is told that there is a video game of some sorts that's really valuable. He buys out the storage locker for like $900, and he finds out that it's completely empty, and he just paid $900 for nothing. However, we recognize some of the decor and whatnot, and we realize it is Jack Black's old stuff. So they have the cube, and like it looks like a tesseract, and then there's the shell. And if you put those together, the portal opens. But he doesn't know that, so it just kind of sits in his shop until we move on to our next characters. Emma Myers plays Natalie in this, and she was Enid in Wednesday, and I really liked her in that one. Her younger brother is played by Sebastian Eugene Hansen, who plays Henry. And this is a duo of children. We're introduced to them. They're moving to a new town because their mom passed away, and it was her dying wish that they live in where I don't even remember what it was called. I would say that this, out of all of the character arcs, had the most potential with what they set up. The dynamic is unstable, the nature of their mother's death isn't clear, their father's not in the picture. Natalie's character wants to be a good guardian and caretaker for her little brother Henry, and it's something that she's struggling to do. She has a job at the place, like some peanut factory, and it's really important to these people. And Henry goes to school where he blows up the peanut factory. That's not a joke. Blows up the peanut factory, and he's sent to Jennifer Coolidge's office, who is the vice principal. So after he's sent to Jennifer Coolidge's office, he calls Jason Momoa's character. I forgot to mention before, he has this interaction with Jason Momoa, and he's like, do you want to be like cool? And he's like, yeah, I want to be cool. And Jason Momoa is like, well, you gotta pay me $50 because I'm dirt broke. And he's like, okay, I don't have that. Here's some tater tots, bye. Anyways, he comes over, poses as his uncle or something, and he goes back home where Natalie is like, oh my god, where have you been? I'm so worried. We're also introduced to Danielle Brooks's character, Dawn. When they're moving into the house, she shows up with a car full of animals, and we're told that she has a bunch of side hustles. They're sort of her priority, but she obviously has other stuff going on. So now that we're at this point, somehow or another, Henry and Garrett end up putting the cube and the thing together, and they go to the portal, they go to that world. Natalie's like freaking out. She's like, oh my god, where is my brother? Because, you know, he's not like, he's the only source of family left for her. And oh my gosh, you'll never guess, they all end up in the overworld. So we have Jason Momoa's character Garrett, we have Henry, we have Natalie, and we have Dawn. We get to see their hijinks and shenanigans. It's pretty unmemorable. And then nighttime rolls around, and Danielle Brooks's character makes a joke about how, does anyone feel like that was really fast? I don't think anyone laughed at that one, but it's okay because they laughed at a lot more, and you'll never guess what it is. Eventually we're introduced to Steve because he like escapes the prison or something. Basically, he has a deal with Malgosha. He's like, I'm gonna bring you this cube because she wants the cube so that she can like control the overworld. And he's like, I will never give you the cube. And she's like, give me the cube or I'm gonna kill your dog. And he's like, I'll give you the cube. So he's like secretly like getting the cube or something, but that's never followed through on, and you never have to worry about it again. Somehow or another, I think it's Henry's character, no, it's Jason Momoa's character, I think, that ends up shattering the shell of the Tesseract, and they're like, how are we gonna get home? And Jack Black's character, who's like the informant or the guidance through this world, he's like, well, you just have to get a new one. And they're like, okay, where's a new one? It's at the Woodland Mansion. How do we get to the Woodland Mansion? Okay, here we have a conflict. So they're going to the Woodland Mansion. They get to a village, and that's actually where they have a tribute to Technoblade, so shout out you guys for doing one thing right, I guess. I don't know, again, it's just the visual style for me that kind of disengages me from the media almost. And obviously that's a thing of personal taste. If you thought this is like the pinnacle of visual effects, I implore you to watch like Avatar or the Lego Batman movie, I don't know. Once they get to the village, they are attacked by the Piglin army, and it's pretty much splitting up the group somehow. We established that like Henry's a creative, he invents things. He invented a jetpack that's what destroyed the peanut. So one jetpack hit the peanut and everyone freaked out. Natalie and Dawn end up fighting together, and this sort of establishes their dynamic, which also never follows through with anything because none of it does, spoiler alert. But they end up fighting together. Jack Black and Jason Momoa's character kind of have like a bromance thing going on. It's a little weird because like they like sandwich or something during a scene. I don't really know what's going on. I just know that I don't like it. Eventually they end up getting to the Woodland Mansion, and that's where we have our favorite scene. And Henry ends up getting the Tesseract shell, but he looks at an Enderman and he like goes all psychedelic on us. I don't really know what that whole bit is about, but again, like the internal logic, like whatever, it doesn't matter. If you can create an elevated internal logic in your world, I would say you've successfully created a magic system. If things can function in that world, I don't care that it's not accurate to Minecraft, but whatever, I don't care. So once they get that, we have the final standoff between Malgosha's army and the whole team, and oh my god, they win, and he kills her. Or he almost does, and she keeps trying to like backstab him. And it is admittedly a funny bit. I will give them that much. But eventually they all go home, and they're like, Jack Black, don't you want to come with us? And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll come with. Because like Jason Momoa has no friends his age, except like Henry, who's not his age. So they all go back. I don't know, his business picks up. Danielle Brooks's character follows through with her animal stuff. Henry builds a jetpack that doesn't bomb everyone. You know, everyone's happy. It's a Hollywood ending. It doesn't matter. That's the plot overview, but I want to focus more on the characters because that's what I found really important to the movie. When you have this small cast of characters in this closed space, you're not introducing anyone else. there's no potential to introduce anyone else. This has to be a character-driven story, and that's not what this is. It relies so much on gimmicks and, oh, he said the funny word, and that's okay. It's a comedy, and that's okay. I understand it's comedy. There are some funny bits. When Jennifer Coolidge is on a date with a villager, spoiler alert, they go, "Are you finished?" And she goes, "No, I think he's Swedish." That was funny. I found that funny. But so much of it cannot rely simply on that. There has to be a little bit of substance to these characters in order for us to be invested, for it to be compelling, for the plot to be at all interesting. So here are my suggestions and also summaries. We'll start with Jack Black, the titular character of the film, the only named one. His character arc is that he goes into Minecraft, beefs with the Nether people, and then his dog gets stolen, and he's like, "I need to get the Tesseract," and they're like, "You can't have it," and I guess I don't remember a point in the movie in which there was any sort of betrayal on Jack Black's end. Also, he just finds his dog, so that was really convenient, guys. Within Jack Black's character, I think it would have been really interesting to explore themes of escapism. Minecraft can be used as a form of escapism, and the fact that he was willing to stay there and really had to hesitate to go back to the overworld, shouldn't that have been something worth exploring? And with regard to Jason Momoa's character Garrett, I think it was a really great setup. They had something going for them. He's washed up from all of this old video game technology. He's introduced into this new world, which we know is a video game. So could he have bridged the gap between those two eras? I think there was a lot of interesting stuff to be explored about legacy or, just bridging the gap between those two mediums of arcade versus digital gaming. And, he had some stuff going for him. I don't like Jason Momoa's character, but I at least wish he'd gone through something. Within the movie, he hears that there are diamonds, and he wants the diamonds, and he wants to get the diamonds. And he takes them on a path through the mountain. Jack Black's like, "We can go this way or this way." And he goes, "Diamond way." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And they go there, and they get, chased by Malgosia's, squad. And Henry is like, "How could you do that? How could you sacrifice us for your own selfish needs?" And Jason Momoa's character is like, "Dude, I need this. I'm a grown adult. This is really important. I need, diamonds." I don't know how it would have worked in the real world because we never follow through with it. But it's not important, guys. Again, none of these characters go through any sort of meaningful development. And when you have a cast of small characters, this has to be inherently a character-driven film. Now, my suggestions for... oh my god, I can't even remember their names. That's how bad this is. For Natalie and Henry's characters, there is so much potential here that could be explored. The nature of their mother's death. It was kind of just a MacGuffin to get them into that town and introduce them. It's oh, well, we have to move here and our mom, whatever. The nature of their mother's death is never explored. Themes of grief aren't even touched on. Their dad, they never had one. And their own relationship is completely static. Natalie's entire character is, "I want to be a better protector for my brother. I want to be a better caretaker," and I think that could have been really compelling. Instead, it would only be after a battle that she would be like, "I'm so sorry I didn't take care of you, I should have looked after you," and him being like, "It's okay." But the nature of their relationship never undergoes any sort of metamorphosis, and I find that so frustrating. With regard to Jason Momoa and Jack Black's character relationship, I think it also could have been really interesting to see the ways in which extreme escapism and I guess extreme realism could have interacted with each other as more than just a bit. Jason Momoa is acting a little bit in his best interest here, obviously, with the entire diamonds bit, and Minecraft Steve is acting in the interest of creativity and I guess artistic integrity or freedom or something. It's not that deep, and that's the problem that I have with the Minecraft movie. Dawn's character is pretty much completely useless, and the only thing she does that's important is tame a dog and fight some people and tell Natalie something that I've completely forgotten. Within that character, I don't know anything about her. There's nothing, no substance to it, nothing that can be explored. The only bit that she has is that she owned animals for her side hustle, mobile petting zoo or something, and then we cut to the end of the movie where she has her whole petting zoo, and we're like, okay, that was nice, but how did we get from point A to point B? And I get it. Hollywood ending, maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it does. But again, you have a cast of like 5 characters. You have to do something with that. It can't just be a static movie where nobody changes. With Malgosha's character, she's kind of just like a 2-dimensional bad guy that serves to drive the plot forward and that there is any sense of urgency. But I personally have my own like headcanons for how this movie could have gone. I think that it would have been really interesting if the whole goal of the movie had been to get to the end, because that is like the traditional way that Minecraft can be beaten, and it would have given us the opportunity to explore both the nether and the end, because those are very important to the game. My next gripe with the movie is that you might be saying, oh, well, it's just a kid's movie, you shouldn't take it that seriously, it's meant to be like silly and goofy and fun. And I completely understand that. I think it was kind of funny. It was like decently okay. Most of it was elevated by the theater experience, which I will also talk about. But with regard to the quality of children's media and things within that genre of cash grab for kids, general audience sort of stuff, I think that you can do that really well, but also give kids something to look back on. I cite the Paddington movie. I really liked the Paddington movie because it was very artistic and it was also very character-driven. The characters have meaningful arcs, the cinematography is immaculate, it's funny and it's goofy and it's for the whole family to enjoy. The Minecraft movie, you get a cheer when they say chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey!
I posit the idea that we can have quality children's media that can be in the interest of profit, but also preserve the artistic integrity of the medium it is adapting. Have you seen the new How to Train Your Dragon trailer? Good. That looks really good. And I don't know, it's probably now only out of a place of love for the franchise. Live action remakes are really popular right now. I cite the Snow White movie, the Beauty and the Beast movie, the Aladdin movie, the Mulan movie, which you shouldn't watch because they filmed those near concentration camps, so let's not endorse that. But the idea that something can be good and also for children is so important to me, and it's something that I really want to do as a film student. I grew up watching a lot of Barbie movies. I was on PBS Kids. I was on, not Nickelodeon, but like Disney Channel Junior. I watched so many different shows that taught me so many valuable things and also informational things. I cite Octonauts, Dinosaur Train, Dora the Explorer, Ni Hao Kai Lan. These are all shows that are centered on teaching kids something specific, but there's also just general lessons that can be taught within children's media, and I think that Bluey, I've been told, is something that's doing that well lately. So, shout out you guys. I also watched Sophia the First, and I think there's a lot of really important lessons in that. Gender equality, classism. There's important messages in there, like Sesame Street literally had one of their actors die, and they had to talk about death.
Big Bird, don't you remember we told you? Mr. Hooper died. He's dead.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Well, I'll give it to him when he comes back.
Big Bird, Mr. Hooper's not coming back.
Sesame Street is a show for kids, but it's also so important to preserving a childhood that is of any value looking back upon. What I am saying is that it is important to have artistic integrity in children's media to teach them valuable things. It's okay to have silly movies, gimmicky movies. We will always have those, and we will always have cash grabs. What I am saying, though, is that there has to be something for these kids to look back on and go, that was pretty great. Like, my childhood was pretty great. I enjoyed this thing that I had, and now I can still enjoy it. I could probably watch an episode of Sesame Street right now and be pretty happy with having watched it as a kid. The next thing I want to talk about is theater experience, because that is actually something that I think the Minecraft movie did really well. We all kind of know the Minecraft movie has a lot of references, bits, jokes, whatever you want to call them. It has quite a few of them. The Flint and Steel bit, most famously the chicken jockey bit. I think he says the nether at some point. But the idea that you can go to a theater and scream and everyone else will be screaming too is something that preserves the theater experience, I believe, in the modern day. The most recent example of this, I say, would be Barbenheimer, where everyone dressed up. Even earlier than that, the Minions movie, and even earlier than that, not going because it was COVID. The theater experience has been so valuable for a number of reasons. The first time that an audience watched this one film, they all screamed because they'd never seen a film before and a train was coming at them. And that is something they experienced together. The Deadpool and Wolverine movie I actually watched in theaters quite a few times, and by quite a few times, I do mean twice. And it was so cool to be able to sit beside these people who were also here for the same thing that I was, and to laugh alongside them and experience the movie alongside them. Other really valuable examples of the theater experience: Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
No, Luke. I am your father. No!
Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2.
What the?
What I'll also say is that rescreenings are really valuable. I recently got to see Parasite in theaters, and it was really cool because my friends were sitting behind me and I didn't know until the end. And that's happened twice to me now. Experiencing something together as a collective experience in theaters, whether it's the shock or the jokes. Like when Twilight was screening at my school, we all got to do the same bits, laugh, and it was just a really good time. That is so valuable, and I think that if one thing the Minecraft movie is helping theaters stay afloat by, drawing in a ton of people, and participating in the theater experience is something that I think everyone should be able to go through at least once. So props to them for being able to enable that. But I also think that just being able to have fun in the theater does not completely negate the other things that they failed to achieve with this film. I talked with one of my friends after the fact, last night in fact, and he said that it was actually really bad and that he probably wouldn't have liked it nearly as much if he hadn't been watching it with other people. I understand that watching something with people can bring more value to it, but if you're like, I wouldn't even be able to finish it if I was doing it alone, I think that says something about the nature of the movie. I guess the biggest points that I want to reiterate is that Hollywood will always have cash grabs, and they will always have remakes, and they will always have reboots and adaptations and what have you. But the difference is what we support, how we support it. I also think that we should hold movies accountable for their contributions to pop culture and what they do for pop culture. I thought the Minecraft movie was trash, and it's not because I hate Minecraft. On the contrary, I'm actually back in my 2-week Minecraft phase. I think that it is so important that something so coveted and beloved to millions of people, the highest grossing video game in the world, mind you, could be so blatantly used for people to make a couple $100 million. We will never have a first Minecraft movie again. Even if they make a reboot, even if they make a sequel, no matter what it is, this will be considered the first movie adaptation. Unless you count Minecraft Story Mode. The idea that this legacy of a video game can be just used and tossed aside for some money is the principle that doesn't sit right with me. And the fact that it is so soulless, and again, it is silly. I thought it was funny, but I also don't think that we can just use that to excuse the fact that it wasn't good. I think it could have been funny and really heartfelt. I cite again the Lego Batman movie. That is a film that explores themes of family and opening yourself up to people after being hurt. And it's also really funny. It's really, really funny. And it's for kids. And I think that the Minecraft movie could have done it, but they just don't care enough. So, I guess what are you gonna do? Closing thoughts, closing statements. I don't like the Minecraft movie. I think it provided a really valuable theater experience for everyone, but I also think that it was deeply flawed as a movie, and it also just fell flat of any artistic expectation. So yeah, I don't think our favorite video game in the whole world should have been blasphemized in the way it was, and I think that there's a lot of beauty in the game that was completely negated by our lust for money and our search for a new trending page or a big paycheck. I think we should hold people accountable when this sort of greed comes around. And even if it's a little bit funny, this is the legacy of the video game now. This will forever be the game adaptation that we are stuck with. This will forever be the legacy of Minecraft in modern media. And I think that that's really sad because it comprises so much of so many people's childhoods and the experiences that they've had. It's a sandbox game. There's never been anything more popular than it. And I think that that is something so incredible. And the fact that it was just kind of used and abused for this one throwaway was really sad to me. And I think that that's part of the reason that I was so against it, is because I knew it wasn't going to honor the game. I knew it wasn't going to honor anything that the people who worked so hard to make it popular stood for. And I was really, really sad when LD Shadow Lady and Dan TDM didn't even get a line. They just stand there. You have to search for them. If you don't know who they are, you're not going to see them. I swear to God, it's really, like, it made me really upset. I know how much it means to so many people. And even if you are just going to go to get some money out of it, it's not that difficult to add anything of meaning or substance or any visual interest or character interest or anything of that sort. But anyways, I digress.
And the universe said I loved you, and the universe said you have played the game well, and the universe said everything you need is within you, and the universe said you are stronger than you know. The universe said you are the daylight, and the universe said you're the night, and the universe said the darkness you fight is within you, and the universe said the light you seek is within you. And the universe said, you're not alone. And the universe said, you are not separate from every other thing. And the universe said, you are the universe, tasting itself, talking to itself, reading its own code. And the universe said, I love you, because you are love. And the game was over, and the player woke up from the dream. And the player began a new dream. And the player dreamed again. Dreamed better, and the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player. Wake up.